Since I was a kid, I've always liked reading books. And that's why when I wanted to learn about investing, I did it by reading books. So over the years, I've read tens of books. And that's why I want to share with you the 5 books that helped me the most to start investing. The first book that I would recommend you is The Little Book That Beats the Market by Joel Greenblatt. Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore with me because I lent it to a friend and clearly it never returned. But it is a book that it is super easy and super simple to read. Imagine that the author made it for his kids so that they can understand the value of investing even if they are still teenagers. And I think that this is a great book because it is extremely practical. There are clear examples on how you can start investing. And that's the strongest point of this book, because anyone could read it and start investing correctly. During the whole book, Greenblatt explains the basics of investing, and he develops the magic formula, which is the way that he teaches his kids how to invest. And as I said, this is a really simple way to invest that anyone can use it. And that's why I think this should be your first choice if you're starting to invest. The second book I would advise you is The Only Investment Guide You'll Ever Need from Andrew Tobias, which is actually a book that I read recently, but it is very helpful. I didn't directly use it, but all the concepts that are in it are extremely helpful, and I think that every beginner should know all these concepts. And also it's a very complete guide. You have everything from investments to budget planning to retirement and buying a house even. So it is a book that is made for everyone and from which you can learn a lot of things, like also the common errors and the pitfalls that you have to absolutely evitate. So because all of that, I think that this is really the book for someone that wants to know everything about investing and money management, instead of only just knowing how to pick the stocks in which you want to invest. Thirdly, we have the Money Master the Game. So actually I have the Italian version, but it is from Anthony Robbins. So for those that doesn't know him, he's a mental coach that worked also for US presidents and important sportsmen. And over his career, he saw that the financial aspect is something that really bothers people, clearly. And that's why over the years, he interviewed a lot of great investors like Warren Buffett and Ray Dalio to understand how to invest and especially how to teach everyone, from the manager to the driver, from the teacher to the sportsman. And the objective of this book is to really teach you how to take control of your finances and become financially independent. So like The Only Investment Guide You'll Ever Need, it's a book that we can say it's a comprehensive guide on investing and in general about finances and about your personal finances. But what also is really interesting of this book is that it doesn't only talk about the practical part of investing, but there also is all the mental part about money, how to manage money, how to react to losses and everything, which is very important if you really want to take control of your own finances. And that's why the central concept of this book is to change your mentality in order to control your money and to become really financially independent. So this is a very interesting book. Clearly, as you see, it's not small, but it can really help you in getting financially independent. And it also has this mental aspect that the other books normally don't have. Fourthly, we have the book that probably helped me the most when I started learning about investing. And actually, it is the book that I read the most and on which I base all my investments, even right now, which is the Warren Buffett Methods by Robert Hagstrom. And this book, as I said, I really love it because it's a book that teaches you how Warren Buffett is investing. That for who doesn't know him, he's like the best investor ever. A person that from close to nothing became the richest person in the world. And Hagstrom spent years interviewing him, analyzing every press release, understanding every investment that he made in order to understand how Warren Buffett thinks and how he invests his money. And that's why this book is called the Warren Buffett Method, because in this book you can really find all the principles that Warren Buffett uses for his investments. And the core of these principles is that you have to understand the company in which you're investing, and you also have to understand their value now, but especially in the future. And even though there aren't mathematical formulas on how to choose these stocks, how to evaluate the value of the investment. But if you like mathematics as I do, you can extrapolate most of his method, which is actually what I did to develop my own method. And so in general, this is a book that doesn't teach you a magic formula, but really gives you the best and most important principles that you always have to follow when you are investing. And finally, we have a book now that is actually very common and probably you've already heard about it, but it actually is one of the first financial books I've ever read, and because of that it really touched me. And it is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. In this book, Kiyosaki talks about how when he was a kid, he kind of had two fathers. One that was his biological father and one that was actually his best friend's father. His father is the poor dad and his best friend's father is the rich dad. And during the whole book, Kiyosaki shows the incongruence that there are between the mentality of a poor person and of the rich person, and how, just from having the good mentality, someone that is currently poor in terms of money can become rich again. Whereas if someone is poor and it has a poor mentality, he will never get rich because of that. And that's why this book is really about the mental approach that you need to have to become rich in your life. And it really shows you how this mentality can bring you to become a rich person, whereas how the poor mentality will always bring you down. Overall, this is a book that is really inspiring, I believe, and motivating. And this book is actually one of the reasons for which I started investing. So to conclude, all these books really helped me in some way, some more than others, but I think that for a beginner, they're all great choices and they're all gonna teach you something. So that's why I think they really are must-reads for any investor. So I hope these books will be helpful for you as they have been for me. And otherwise, if you have any advice for books, just write them down in the comments. I will gladly read them.